Here is how BYU gets it done. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 is here to discuss the biggest game in the history of BYU football. Okay, that might be overstating things a little. But in the modern era, Drake, it's very true because they've got a chance to win, and the committee can't keep them out of the playoff if they win this game. I mean, well, I don't know. They could. Like James Madison wins, Virginia wins, Tulane wins, and the committee's like, well, we just feel like James Madison's a really strong team.
Why are you like this? You should work at the Salt Lake Trib. You would fit in right with them with their BYU coverage. This is just gross and negligent.
First of all, would like to make it abundantly clear that what is happening to BYU is horrible. Sometimes you laugh about things that are horrible to try and better cope with them. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with that
BYU
line.
loses tens of millions of dollars by not making the playoff as 11. It's funny. I get it. It's funny. Come on.
Anyway, how did they win the game, Drake?
Well, they limit the chunk plays. And that is something where you can be of the mind, as most average ball knowers are. By the way, talking about average ball knowers, you didn't even lead the show today with BYU and Texas Tech. We're talking coaching rumors?
Well, I had a plan. And then a very reliable source tipped me off that Matt Campbell was going to be a target at Penn State. No. And then it was reported by some other sources, and I saw, that's where we got to go.
You had concepts of a plan, and then you went.
I did have concepts of a plan. I was on my radar. And then I saw the national reports. I'm like, here we go, Jim. Here we go.
And so you buried BYU and Texas Tech to your second segment on
Let's
today's
not
show.
call it burying. This is a very widely listened to podcast. I think my average listenership is very high.
It's good enough. Someday it'll be Locked On Big 12, but it's just semantics here. Okay, let me take your question, and I'm happy to answer it in the chunk play thing. I'll explain, but let me answer your question with another question. Do you think there is any world, where Spencer McLaughlin sees BYU actually winning this game?
I don't think BYU fans would want me to say that on the air if I did see that scenario.
So this is not going to take a Herculean effort for BYU to win. It's not going to be the biggest upset, most impossible. How did it happen? Oh my goodness, you blew me away. We this season alone, like Washington State and Oregon State flipped kind of a blowout score. And that's niche, no doubt, but it's college football at the same time. As little as everyone talked about Washington State, Oregon State, there's the same way that BYU can flip the script here against Texas Tech and just say, hey, look, you didn't care about that game. No one watched that game, but this happens. Like, teams lose games by a wide margin, but then come back and say, hey, we didn't turn the ball over 3 times the second time around, and we didn't allow the chunk plays, and we ended up winning. I think BYU is much closer than the 29-7 score would indicate to Texas Tech. Now, a big piece of this, Spencer, this is the 18th time I've mentioned this on a show this week. I'll continue to. Cameron Dickey, in the first game these two teams played, 33 yards was his longest carry. Jacoby Williams, 43 yards, his longest carry. That would add up to 76 yards. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech had in total 149 yards. So half of their yardage came on 2 carries. The other half came on 41 carries. Texas Tech kicked 5 field goals. Their red zone offense was not good against BYU's defense. The BYU defense, 4 sacks against Baron Morton. Now, the reason I'm giving you all the numbers that favor BYU here, twofold. Number one, I do think BYU can win this game. I could give you a million reasons. Texas Tech will just do what they've been doing and take care of business. But I'm trying to justify how BYU can stay in this. 2, the reason I'm justifying that is the Big 12 Conference, Brett Yormark, his office, are all rooting clearly for BYU. They want 2 playoff teams. And it's not just, it would look good. We're talking millions of dollars that are given by the committee, the revenue stream from TV that's just given directly to teams that make it, and also the exposure for the league, the PR for the league that is just millions tenfold in marketing. The Big 12 wants BYU to win, plain and simple. And Texas Tech will still get in. Zero doubt about that. I think
zero doubt with this committee. You're placing zero doubt because look, I would have zero. If I were a committee of 1, there would be a 0% chance they wouldn't get in. But 10-2 with a loss to BYU, who
11.
they haven't liked.
11-2.
11-2 with a loss to BYU, who they haven't liked all year, and Arizona State. I think it's more likely than not Texas Tech is in. Let's make that clear. You said 0% chance.
Zero.
I cannot predict what this committee is going to do because they're. I've heard it get framed like this before, and I think it's correct. They are do what they want and rationalize later. That's what this committee is.
3 weeks in, the guy in charge of the committee got deposed. So this is already a pretty messed up committee. But Spencer, let's understand this. We are looking at a very clear case against the Sherman Antitrust Act. And you're like, why would they bring up the Sherman Antitrust? BYU, Texas Tech, the Big 12. BYU has already sued college football for a lack of representation of the BCS era. Like, BYU is kind of the reason we got the whole BCS thing because they sued the NCAA. We are looking at the exact same thing. If you say, hey, wait a second, that's weird. Ole Miss didn't play a game and they got to go, but Texas Tech got left out. That's a very easy lawsuit to win, and it would once again reshape how we do college football postseason. People forget we did the BCS because of BYU and them suing the entire format. We're looking at that again. If you leave Texas Tech out, they won't do it.
The committee wants so badly for BYU to lose this football game.
Absolutely.
Every single member. I saw Kirk Herbstreit online getting ripped for saying that, and I was like, he's pointing out what is plainly true. I don't think that Kirk Herbstreit is saying that's what he wants to have happen. He's saying that's what the committee wants, and it 1,000% is. They do not want to have them because they love Notre Dame, because Notre Dame passes the eye test. By the way, what about Miami doesn't pass an eye test? I don't know. Over the last several weeks, they beat.
Well, they lost to Notre Dame, so that's what.
Wait, backwards. Freaky Friday. That was other way around. Yeah, that's not right. Here's another one. Let me throw this out there. Let's say BYU fails to win the football game. Do they just sit there at 11? Do they stay put? Do they not move? Is BYU's sole divine purpose in life in the eyes of the committee to be the buffer between Miami and Notre Dame? Hey, or is BYU going to drop and then the head-to-head will have to come into play and Miami will get into the playoff? Because I think there's a non-zero chance that happens.
Look, I've asked Jake Hatch about this. I've asked Gary Patterson about this. Now Spencer McLaughlin. BYU, strength of record, number 6. Notre Dame, number 13. Strength of schedule, BYU 35. Notre Dame 42. Best win, BYU number 15. Notre Dame versus number 17. Worst loss, BYU number 5. Notre Dame number 12. 10-2 versus 11-1. Why is Notre Dame above BYU? Their resume is not better. Not even close.
Let me throw up my top 25 rankings for the week, Drake. Are you ready for this? For those watching on YouTube? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Is that BYU at 9? Yeah, it is. Where's Notre Dame at 12? Why? For all the reasons you just listed. So to the question that you just asked, I don't know. No. I do not know the answer to that question.
It is what is happening right now. Bad for the sport is putting it lightly. We are telling you there are 2 conferences. That's going to be a massive offseason topic. We are telling America there are 2 conferences in college football. If you aren't in those 2, you better go unblemished, or we're probably not going to care. Yeah.
It's not a great place. It's not the sort of decision-making I would like to govern the greatest sport on planet Earth. I tell you what, it's going to rationalize playoff expansion. That's what they're going to do.
You and I have not had this conversation yet, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't mean to commandeer, but I think that Vanderbilt at 14, 15, 16 could compete with Texas A&M. Neutral site, I think that's a fun game. A good game where Vanderbilt wins 4 out of 10 times. To me, if we go to 16 in today's era, now in 2011, it doesn't make sense to go to 16. In today's era, 16, I think you can still play some competitive games, namely if we're not just adding 3 different North Texases in there. And I want North Texas to have a shot, but 1 or 2 of those group of 5 schools, group of 6 schools, I think that the number 16 team, if they are USC or any given year, a Vanderbilt, could compete at the very least.
Here's the thing, because I've talked about this before in the context of the gap between the top of the sport and those that are trying to knock them off is not as big as it used to be. On that, we agree. Where I don't agree is that's a justification to expand the playoff, because now you are further reducing the meaning of the actual games that get played during the season, and we're starting to feel like the NFL. Can anyone tell me a major season-defining singular outcome in the NFL so far this year? Can anybody give me one?
Not yet, but also, Spencer.
Not yet is the only
Spencer,
answer I needed to hear.
Those ratings are still better than college football.
Yeah,
people
but
are
that's
still watching
different,
the NFL. They're watching it higher.
That's not money that comes in my direction. I do not care. I want the sport to be the best that it can possibly be.
You just told me when BYU got a double-digit win at Cincinnati, who's been in the top 25 half this season and didn't even move a smidge, that the regular season already doesn't matter that much.
Well, only for look, make me a one-man committee, and this will all go.
You
away.
and Josh Pate, huh?
Hey. I think the two of us could accomplish a great many things for the sport. I think we could do a lot of he can work on playoff selection. I'll work on calendar. Okay, those would be our delegated tasks, respectively, and I think that would result in a better sport. I think Texas Tech wins 28-20. By the way,
I'm going to go with BYU. I think BYU wins 27-23. Oh, I like that too. BYU wins. Yeah.
Is that a Big 12 championship scoregami right there? Is that what we've got?
There haven't even been that many Big 12 championship games. There's like 20
it probably is a scoregami.
Almost no matter what they do, it'll be a scoregami.
Could very well be. Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. What about the rest of the conference championship games? I will attempt to tell you how those are going to go. We won't know until the weekend whether or not I actually succeed.